Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're watching this video. I'm Father Jason Tyler and pastor at St. Joseph Catholic Church in Fayetteville. And I plan to make a series of videos during this time of transition within the Catholic Church. During this what's called the Interregnum. That's Interregnum. The inter is just between, and regnum, between the reign, and between the reign of one pope and another. So we are right now between the reign of Pope Francis, who passed away 2 days ago as I record this. I'm recording this on Wednesday, April the 23rd in the evening. Pope Francis passed away, of course, Monday the 21st. So we're between Pope Francis and whoever will be elected next, whoever will be the next pope. We don't know yet, of course, who that will be. But a lot of interesting things happen during a papal interregnum. And my goal with these videos, each of which I hope to be within the 10 to 15 minute range, my goal with these videos is to help you as parishioners to understand a bit about that process, to understand a bit about what is happening and why, and to know, again, something about our faith through the process, because the different steps that happen all have historical reasons. They all have motivations behind it. And a lot of those reasons, when you get down to it, are very faith-centered reasons. And that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, right? Because we are a faith-filled institution, the body of Christ on earth. And so there are, again, reasons of our faith connected to what's happening, and my goal is to speak about those. My goal is to speak about them in connection to our life as a parish community. As I mentioned, I'm pastor at St. Joseph in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Most people watching this, I think, are going to be parishioners there, because that's who I'm going to send the information to. However, once it's out there on the internet, I know it's out there, and that's fine. I'm glad for others to watch it as well, if you are interested. And so again, we want to connect it to the parish life, connect it to the faith life, ultimately, of average Catholics. Another goal I have with these videos is to share some of my own memories from 2005. 2005 was the last true parallel to what's happening for us right now. And by 2005, I'm referring to the death of Pope, now St. John Paul II, that led ultimately to the election of Pope Benedict XVI. We've had a couple of other events since then that have parts of what's happening now. So in 2013, Pope Benedict resigned the papacy, and Pope Francis was elected. So we had the conclave, we had what's called the general congregations, and I'll define that term later on as well. We had the election of a new pope, but we did not have the death of a pope. And so it's different, 2013 was, than what we're doing right now. Also late in 2022, Pope Benedict XVI passed away. It was the very end of December, if I remember correctly. And so in his passing, we mourned a pope. But we were mourning at that point a former pope, a pope emeritus. So it had a different feeling. I don't know if all of you have experienced that or not, but I have certainly noticed it. You know, when Pope Benedict passed away, well, Pope Francis was there, and he was the one that celebrated Pope Benedict's funeral mass. Now, of course, Pope Francis has passed, and there is no pope at the moment. And again, that's what we're moving toward here in a few weeks. So again, 2005 was the last time we had this sort of thing. Well, in 2005, I was not yet a priest. There in the spring and April of 2005, when John Paul II passed away, I was a deacon, what's called a transitional deacon. And what that means is before a man is ordained a priest, he has to be a deacon for some period of time. Often it's 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe a year. It was about 9 months in my case. And so I was in my 4th year of major seminary, my deacon year, and I was studying in Rome. And so I was at the Pontifical North American College, which is like, you can walk from there to St. Peter's Square in 10 minutes. And so very nearby. And I was glad to be there, and I was able to be in the square when they announced the death of John Paul II. I was able to run, and when I heard there was white smoke, I run to the square and be there when Pope Benedict XVI was presented to the world. I was ultimately there when Pope Benedict had his inauguration Mass a few days after his election. And I was also, I waited in line between all of these events. A few days after the death of John Paul II, I waited in line to see his body lying in state, and that was about an 8-hour wait, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So 05 was a very interesting time for me, just being there as events unfolded around the world, as worldwide events unfolded in the place where I was, in Rome, and it was an amazing time, and as the church is going through, again, now the death of another pope, getting ready for another one, it reminds me a lot of 2005, and I'm bringing back memories, I guess, in my head of that period. So that's part of my own motivation here in presenting these, is to give me an excuse, if you will, to reminisce a little bit, but also to do so in a way that connects us to what's happening right here and now. So, again, my goal is a video every day, and hopefully a video that will touch on the various topics involved. The first few are going to focus on the death of Pope Francis and the different things that happen. Many of them have already happened after his death. And the things that are about to happen, such as his funeral, the series of 9 days of masses that happen after his funeral, and how then the cardinals start preparing to elect a new pope. So that'll be some of the next series of videos. We'll talk about what's life happening, what's like in the Vatican, what's going on in the church at that highest leadership level when there is no pope, what's different and what is maybe not different at times. Finally, as we get close to the conclave itself starting, I will talk about how the conclave works and how the various cardinals come into that and what they may be thinking. Of course, that would be some speculation, but I think it's, at least some informed or educated speculation to some extent. So that'll take us through ultimately the conclave itself beginning. Just a rough timeline of things. The funeral is set for Saturday, April the 26th. It will be at 10 a.m. Rome time, which means 3 o'clock in the morning here in Arkansas. So if you want to get up in the middle of the night and watch the funeral, I'm sure there will be many ways to do that. I am kind of leaning toward doing that myself. I'm thinking very seriously about that. I don't like losing sleep. I don't like waking up at probably 2:45 in the morning or whatever it would be to start watching this at 3. But I also know if I'd try to think, I'll watch the recording later, I probably won't. And so I'd rather, get up and be part of it and be connected to the funeral in that way. Again, at least that's my thinking at this point. So the funeral on the 26th, again, that starts the series of the 9 Novendial or Novemdial masses. There are a couple different spellings, and I'll have a whole video talking just about what those are. And while those 9 days worth of masses are going on, the cardinals will be meeting in a series of general congregations to talk about the state of the church and kind of what they should be focusing on in the election of a new pope. And then the conclave itself to elect a new pope, that has to begin between 15 and 20 days after the pope has passed. And so, again, Pope Francis passed on Monday of this week, and if I'm counting the days correctly, then I believe Tuesday, May 6th would be when the conclave could start at its earliest. It's possible it's Monday the 5th, depending on whether day 1 is truly the day of the Pope's death or if it's after that. And I've read a couple different things and not remembering at the moment. But either way, we'll hear soon enough whether it's one of those days. In theory, it could be a little bit later that week. Could be the 7th, the 8th, whatever. But my money, if I were betting, would be on the 6th or possibly the 5th of May. And again, as we get closer, I'll talk more about the conclave itself. But that gives you a rough idea. If the conclave begins on the 5th or the 6th and it lasts a couple of days, as most of them have in the last century, then we're likely looking at having a pope by May 7th, maybe May 8th at the latest, again, unless this thing goes on longer, which is always possible. And after the new pope is elected, he's pope right away, but then there's an inauguration mass sometime later, and so that's kind of how things can continue on. So again, be watching for these roughly every day. I hope to have one out, and very glad you can join me. Don't be afraid to spread the word. One of the easiest ways to stay informed and know when I have a new video coming out is to subscribe to my channel. I don't make a lot of videos, if you may notice. Well, actually, I'm not sure I'm going to put them up on my channel, so to speak. So subscribe to whatever channel this is going on, and you'll get notified then as new ones come out. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye-bye.